So basically what I do is I help people rewrite the memories. And so I'm a neuroplastician, behavioral engineer, and that is knowing how to go inside the mind and to rewrite memory. Since our brain naturally does this automatically without us consciously knowing it, it creates links to things that are unpleasant or pleasant, such as love equals chocolate, chocolate equals love, but also fears and phobias, PTSD are also unconscious links. And so what I do is I help people to break the link. How do I do this is understanding the limbic system and how the brain and how the body work together, and it's deep unconscious work, but also using very similar processes such as kinesthetics, addressing the visual, addressing what they hear, and creating new links with a process I call eutaptics, FasterEFT. The nice thing is about the new research about neuroplasticity of the mind, there's a lot of proof that the mind actually is plastic, which it can be changed. And you don't have to believe it. I mean, proof is in the pudding, as we would say in Oklahoma, is it's very simple. Your brain does it anyway. So such as, say for example, you met someone and you talk to them, you have a really good feeling, you had a good conversation, you had a good experience. And then a few days later and hours later, you ran into one of your friends or your colleagues, and they began to tell you about how bad this person that you just met. So at first you have a good feeling, and as you're hearing a story from someone else, that there's emotions and things linked to the person, all of a sudden from a good experience, it becomes a bad experience, and your brain does this without you consciously knowing this. And that's why people have affection for coffee or chocolate or whatever, is because there's what we call unconscious links that drives physical behavior. Well, I have a vast array of type of people who come see me, and that is, you know, I had a neuroscientist, we have doctors, we have just normal people that, you know, who want to help themselves. Also, you know, psychologists, therapists, and all walks of life who want to, one, help themselves, and two, also create a career or help their clients. I think one of the reasons why alternative therapies are very difficult to get accepted is because a lot of these alternative therapies doesn't have what you call a very strong research base or understanding how the mind, and also a lot of these therapies go into spirituality, go into alternative thinkings, which, you know, for most normal people, they say, you know, that just sounds too weird. But the beauty of what I teach is very logical, very practical. You can measure it, you can see it, and you know that it works because it's working within your mind and how you process information. Of course, a lot of things that I use in my program are using some very vital, important pieces that has been well researched, such as understanding mindfulness, understanding schema therapy, understanding how the brain actually works. We use a form of acupressure. Also use many pieces that are very researched, but it's just mixed in a really nice package, and understanding how hypnosis works and how memories work, and how you actually, when you go to a bad memory, you're actually going into a trance and you're experiencing something that doesn't exist except only in your mind. So it understands how you're just doing it to yourself, basically. What I have is a mix of many things. Not only is it neurolinguistic programming, which is internal process, how your mind actually encodes memory and how sensations and feelings, emotions, but it's also built on schema therapy, it's built on some of Gestalt therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, TFT, thought field therapy, emotional freedoms technique, and also about hypnosis and how trance work. What else? There's a lot of mix here. The reason why it's better than others is because it works and it's simple, it's easy to apply, it adjusts to every type of person, every type of thinker, and you don't have to be a neuroscientist to use it to make it work. So to be really good at what I do is you've got to be very flexible and understanding that person A and person B may look like they have the same problem, but they were created totally different, and having the adjustability to address each type of person. In my world, you know, we talk about, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, multiple personality disorder, OCD, ADD, ADHD, each of these are what we call coping skills inside the mind. They're not disorders, but they're actually talents. And when I have somebody come in who quote, unquote, were diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, all I do is I step in and figure out how they do it, because everyone does it differently, and go in and make the adjustments in the mind, release the stresses and the triggers and the events that support it. All of a sudden their ADD is gone. Now they can focus, now they can do things. Or obsessive compulsive disorder, what is that? Well, it's their brain trying to survive, trying to deal with something that they've experienced and that they use to create a pattern that keep them safe. So we go to the memory, the trauma, the PTSD, and we rewrite the story. And then all of a sudden their PTSD is gone. Now their OCD has disappeared, and now they have conscious mental control. So one of my specialties is not only PTSD, but also helping people to relieve themselves from pain. With the physical pain, we're actually dealing with how the brain wires memories together. And like, for example, why would someone who has a limb missing and yet still have pain? And the reason is because inside their brain, they have the memory of pain. And a lot of pains are what you call memory pain, which it's in the brain, but we seem to think we feel it in the body. And once you change the resources, which are the experiences, the emotional environment, all of a sudden the pain's gone, because the brain is the one that's doing that. We have lots of research that shows that, the placebo effect, we talk about the placebo effect. What is it? Well, it's the mind's great ability to heal itself in spite of the fake operation or the fake sugar. So the brain is doing something internally, and as well as the nocebo effect, is that they still have pain, they still have the problem, and yet there's no cause for it, there's no reason for it. Because again, doctors see this a lot. It's because it's brain pain. It's mind making it real in the body, but yet it's in the mind. And so we do work with physical pain. So there's lots of individuals who had severe pain and now they're not have any pain at all, they're free.